Today we're going to have a review of telling time to the hour and half hour. You will need paper and pencil to go through this video. Telling time to the hour. This clock shows 12 o'clock. The shorthand or hour hand is pointing to the 12. The long minute hand is also pointing to the 12. So this clock shows that it is 12 o'clock. Telling time to the half hour. Half an hour is halfway around the clock. What time does this clock show? It shows 1:30 or 1:30. The shorthand or the hour hand is halfway between the 1 and the 2, and the long minute hand is pointing at the 6. What time is on this clock? Write your answer on your paper. It is 11 o'clock. The short hour hand is pointing to the 11 and the long minute hand is pointing to the 12. What time is on this clock? Write your answer on your paper. It is 2 o'clock. The shorthand or hour hand is pointing to the 2 and the long hand or minute hand is pointing to the 12. What time is on this clock? It is 6 o'clock. The short hour hand is pointing to the 6 and the long minute hand is pointing to the 12. So this clock shows 6 o'clock. What time is on this clock? Write your answer on your paper. It is 10 o'clock. The shorthand or the hour hand is pointing to the 10 and the long minute hand is pointing to the 12. What time is on this clock? It is 12:30 or 12:30. The short hour hand is halfway between the 12 and the 1, and the long minute hand is pointing to the 6. Remember, when our long minute hand points to the 6, that is halfway around the clock, and it means it is half past. What time is on this clock? Write your answer on your paper. This clock shows 2:30 or 2:30. The short hour hand is halfway between the 2 and 3. The long minute hand is pointing to the 6. So we would read this clock as 2:30 or 2:30. What time is on this clock? Write your answer on your paper. It is 9:30 or 9:30. The shorthand or the hour hand is halfway between the 9 and the 10. The long minute hand is pointing to the 6. So this is 9:30 or 9:30. What time is on this clock? Write your answer on your paper. It is 6:30 or 6:30. The short hour hand is halfway between the 6 and the 7. The long minute hand is pointing to the 6. So you would read this clock as 6:30. Listen to my story and see if you can determine the time. Kim's dance class starts at 3 o'clock. The class lasts half an hour. What time is it when the dance class ends? Write the time on your paper. If Kim's dance class started at 3 and it lasts for 30 minutes, look at our clock. Here we would have 3 o'clock to start with. It started at 3, and then the minute hand would move halfway around the clock so that it's pointing to the 6. So this shows 3:30. So Kim's dance class ends at 3:30. Let's try another problem. When I left the house to buy groceries, the clock showed 5 o'clock. It took me 1 hour to buy groceries and come home. What time did the clock show when I arrived home? Write your answer on your paper. The shorthand would start on the 5, and if I was gone for an hour, the long minute hand would have moved all the way around the clock, and the shorthand or hour hand would just now be pointing at the 6. So it would be 6 o'clock when I arrived home. This is the digital form of 6 o'clock. You have your number 6, your colon, and 2 zeros to let you know there are no minutes past 6. Let's try another one. School begins at 8:30. We have lunch after 3 hours. What time do we have lunch? Write your answer on your paper. The short hour hand would start between the 8 and the 9, and the long minute hand would be pointing at the 6. That shows 8:30. The short hand, which is the hour hand, would move around the clock 3 times. So the short hour hand would be between the 11 and the 12, and the long minute hand would be pointing to the 6. So we go to lunch at 11:30. If you count 3 hours starting at 8:30, you would have 9:30, 10:30, 11:30. So we actually would eat lunch at 11:30. In today's lesson, we reviewed how to tell time to the hour and the half hour. We also worked on solving word problems using clocks and telling time.